Hello students, today we are going to study Civics chapter number 2, Ideals of our Constitution. So now we will talk about the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India is the supreme law of India. It was adopted by the Constituent Assembly of India on 26 November 1949. However, it came into force from 26 January 1950. The date 26 was chosen for its enforcement because it was on this date 20 years earlier that the Indian National Congress has adopted the resolution on Purna Swaraj or complete independence, and since 1950 this day is celebrated as Republic Day, and the date 20 years back was 19th December 1929 and it was been at Lahore. Features of our constitution. See, India has the longest written constitution in the world. The framers of our constitution studied the other constitution, selected their valuable features and put them with necessary modification in our Indian constitution. If we talk about the fundamental rights, it was adopted from the Constitution of USA. The parliamentary system of government and single citizenship were adopted from the Constitution of UK. If we talk about the directive principles of state policy, that were adopted from the Constitution of Ireland. The 5-year plans and the fundamental duties were adopted from the Constitution of the former USSR. The drafting of the Constitution was done by the drafting committee headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and at that time Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister and Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the President of our country. See children, the Constitution of India has 442 articles in 25 parts, 12 schedules and 100 amendments. It is essential to make modification in the Constitution according to the changing conditions. These modifications made through a procedure called an amendment. Some provisions of our Constitution can be amended by the Parliament with a simple majority. The amendment of most other provisions of the Constitution require a special majority in both houses of the Parliament. There are some other provisions of Constitution which cannot be amended by the Parliament alone. The Preamble. The Preamble is an introductory part of the Constitution which explains the goals of the government. The Preamble to the Indian Constitution incorporates all the guiding values inspired by the freedom struggles. The Preamble may be considered as the soul of Indian Constitution. Now let us talk about the salient features of our Constitution, that is sovereignty. Sovereignty, if we talk about sovereignty, it is the freedom to govern oneself within a territory and to be free from any external control. The word sovereignty means having independent authority and the right to govern itself. The supreme power lies in the people, as we can see from the opening word in the preamble, we, the people of India. The second salient features of our constitution, that is socialist. Under social equality, everyone must have equal status and opportunities. Secularism. The preamble declares that India is a secular country. As a state, it does not have any special status of any religion. There is no such thing as a state religion of India. All religions enjoy equality of status and respect. Indian secularism guarantees equal freedom to all religions. Democracy. Democracy is the most important feature of our constitution. Democracy refers to the government wherein people have the power to vote and elect their representatives to the government. In India, citizens who are 18 years and above have the right to vote, known as universal adult franchise. Elections are held every 5 years. Federalism. India has a federal form of government, more than one level of government: central government, state government, and local government. In federation, there are two governments, as the central level and the state level. In India, the power of the government are divided between the center and the state governments. The president is the constitutional head of the country, and the prime minister heads the government at the center, and the parliament makes laws of the country. The Vidhan Sabha and the state legislature makes laws for the states. There are three different lists under which powers and functions of the center and the state government have been defined. That is the union list, the state list, and the concurrent list. India is a democratic republic. It means that the head of the state shall not be the hereditary head but will be chosen by the people through an election. The preamble declares India to be a republic. In India, the president is the head of the state and the prime minister is the head of the government. Both of them are elected by the people. The president is elected indirectly by the people, as the representative elected by the people elect them. The Prime Minister is appointed by the leader of the majority party or coalition in the parliament. Both of them are elected for a specified period of 5 years. This feature makes India a republic. The fundamental objectives that are listed in the preamble are justice. The term justice in the preamble refers to three varying aspects, that is, political, social, and economic justice, which are secured through different provisions of fundamental rights and directive principles of the state policy. Liberty. All the citizens are secured with the liberty of thoughts, expression, beliefs, faith, and worship through the fundamental rights which are justiciable in nature. Freedom must be exercised within the constitutional limits. If we talk about equality, it means that all the people are equal and have equal opportunities. Fraternity, this refers to the feeling of brotherhoodness and sense of belongingness with the country among its people. Fundamental rights. We can also call these rights as human rights because they are concerned with the dignity of human beings. In the Constitution of India, these rights have been called fundamental rights. These are the basic rights for which our freedom fighters fought against the British. Fundamental rights are essential human rights that are offered to every citizen irrespective of caste, race, creed, place of birth, religion, and gender. The Constitution of India gives us six fundamental rights. The right to equality has been given in the Constitution from Article 14 to 18, and the Constitution declares that all citizens are equal before law. All citizens have equal access to shops, public entertainment, and places of public resorts, which are maintained wholly or partly by the state. Then comes the right to freedom. Under Article 19 to 22 deals with the right to freedom. Our Constitution guarantees six different freedoms to promote the ideal of liberty mentioned in the preamble. The freedoms include under this are freedom of speech and expression, freedom to assemble peacefully without arms, freedom to form associations or unions, freedom to move freely throughout the territory of India, freedom to reside and settle in any part of the territory of India, freedom to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade, or business. In right against exploitation, it has been given in Article 23 and 24. It puts a firm end to such exploitation as forced labor, beggary, and human trafficking. Right to freedom of religion. According to the Constitution, Article 25 to 28, all religions are equal before the state and no religion shall be given preference over the other. Citizens are free to preach, practice, and propagate any religion of their choice. In cultural and educational right, the Indian Constitution guarantees cultural and educational right under Article 29 and 30. In this, all the groups in the country have been guaranteed the right to safeguard their cultural language and scripts. Right to constitutional remedies. In Article 32 gives all citizens a right to move judiciary for the enforcement of the rights. That is, if a fundamental right have been violated by the state or any other person, then a complaint can be filed in the Supreme Court or High Court. These court possesses the power to enforce the fundamental rights of the citizen by issuing a writ or an order. Directive principles of state policy. These are the provisions set out in Part 4 of the Constitution. The directive principles of state policies are guidelines for the framing of laws by the government. Although the directive principles are asserted to be the fundamental in the governance of the country, they are not legally enforceable. Instead, they are guidelines for creating a social order characterized by the social, economic, and political justice, liberty, equality, fraternity in the constitutional preamble. To value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform.